Hello, everybody. Good morning, good late morning. I'm making this monthly video just a little bit later in the day than I usually do. I usually have it be my first video of the month, but there was just some more important business that had to take priority. So if you haven't seen the actual morning video already, go watch it. And you'll understand what I mean when I say I just needed to start the day off that way. But yeah, want to go ahead and do the April 2024 State of the Channel, talking about the March that just happened and the April that we hope to have going forward. So, let's talk a little bit about the month of March first. YouTube, overall, it was great. It was an awesome month, and I think we all know why. It's a very active month for football fans. There's a lot going on, and I do everything I can to take full advantage of that period of time with approximately 40 hours of streaming during the first week of NFL free agency. So a lot of you guys probably stepped in on the live streams. If not, you probably saw some of the videos I posted from those live streams. It's a pretty simple matter. It's a pretty simple matter of just, hey, players are signing contracts with new teams. Players are returning to their old teams. Players are shopping themselves around. And it's riveting theater for us as NFL fans. So that week was one of the best weeks that this channel has ever had. The views were sky high. People were very supportive. People helped out a lot. People participated in chat. We, a couple different times, hit over 1,000 concurrent viewers on a stream. Some of those videos that I posted during free agency had well over 10,000, pushing like 15,000 views. And it was a great time. The Seahawks did some interesting things. They did some compelling things. I know they didn't break the world. I know they didn't shock anybody. But it was a really, really strong week of Seahawks topics. There was constantly stuff to talk about. I was able to actually pretty much stay active the entire week, which was something I was not able to do last year. Last year, I really had to fight my way through that week. Not necessarily because the Seahawks didn't do anything, but because they kind of waited to do things after I was done streaming. And that of course, happened a little bit in March this year as well, but they did a little bit more during the day, and also I was able to stay more engaged via just I was able to stay more engaged simply because I tried to take measures to make sure I would be more awake. So I think the streams went better than they did last year, and yeah, it's one of the best weeks we've ever had. So I want to thank everybody for that week. It was a fantastic, fantastic run of 5 days. 8-hour streams a day, cranking out several videos a day, just depending on how much happened that was relevant to the Seahawks. And obviously, by the end, things petered out a little bit. By the end, it's hard to push over 500 viewers when nothing's going on, when the Seahawks aren't really doing anything. The Seahawks saved a lot of their lower level moves for the following week after I was done with the streaming week, but that just kind of spread out the interest, right? That's not a bad thing. That allows the interest to be spread out to the following week as well. So overall, March was really good. Now, when you get past the first couple waves of free agency and things slow down, especially when you're a Seahawks fan, because Seahawks, they kind of ran out of money before any other team. They don't really have the money unless they want to create more money to go out and do anything else. So at a certain point, it became kind of clear that we were done. And at that point, all you really have to do is talk about the you talk about the draft. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. The draft content pre-draft is not for everybody. A lot of people on this channel, lot of Seahawks fans, a lot of sports fans everywhere, they're into the stuff that actually happens. They're not so into the stuff that might happen but probably won't happen. And draft stuff is all about the stuff that probably won't happen but might happen, right? Like, I'm making video after video after video about prospects that we have maybe a 2% chance of drafting. Sometimes we have a 0% chance of drafting them, but I'm trying to paint a full and complete picture of the draft. That's an important part of the process for me, and it's important for my ability to understand what's going on when the draft starts, that I've actually looked into these players in some level of depth. So it's important that I do all that, even though I know that content is not for everybody. And I certainly understand it. It's a lot of stuff to go through, and it's not going to appeal to every single person out there, because at the end of the day, only like I'm looking at almost 300 players in this pre-draft process. Maybe 8 or 9 of them, 10 at most, will end up being Seahawks. That's not for everybody. Now, to the people who it is for, to the people who do appreciate it, it's great. I'm going to continue to do it. I'm going to continue to do it every year, even though I know that stuff only gets a fraction of the views of the other stuff, because I need to do it anyway, right? I need to throw myself into that. I may as well go ahead and put my findings out there for the public while I'm doing it. So that stuff's good. But yeah, admittedly, once you get past the first few waves of free agency and your team is out of money, and all you really can do is talk about draft prospects, it definitely fizzles out. And the last week or so of March, things slowed down significantly, which I pretty much expected. I pretty much anticipated that. The mock draft stuff does well because people like mock drafts, but I kind of feel like people are even getting a little bit tired of the mock draft stuff. I think people are just ready to get to the draft because I've already done so many mocks this year. So, yeah, it was a great month overall, though. We had more views on the channel than we did in February or January, actually. And remember, January was all about the head coaching hunt that ended with the hiring of McDonald. So there was a lot of interest on the channel then. But yeah, free agency pushes you over the top. Now, beyond that, there really isn't too much else to say about things that happened on the channel. There were some, I think there was a little bit of coaching leftover stuff earlier in March. But that's really about it. It was just free agency and then draft. That's what everything's about right now. There were a couple of videos about other topics. But yeah, we started with Mariners stuff as well. We posted our first Mariners video of the year. I'm going to do Mariners content throughout the season. And that stuff is niche as well. Not everybody's into that stuff. That stuff doesn't do that much better than the draft stuff typically, but I like to do it. So we will continue to do that. And that gets us to the April that we're hoping to have here on YouTube. And the first few weeks of April are going to continue to be kind of quiet because I'm just going to be going through these draft prospects. I'm just going to finish up my draft look. I'm currently scheduled to be done somewhere around mid-month. And then I don't 100% know what's going to happen. By then, the Seahawks should be doing a lot of top 30 meeting stuff wrapping up. They should be doing a lot of prospect meetings. They should we should be getting some idea of what they might be interested in, or at least what they want us to think they're interested in. So there is definitely going to be some stuff that comes out of the team that is compelling to us as fans. We're going to start to get a feel for what their goals are in this upcoming draft. But it's mostly just going to be deep diving into prospects so I can put together my final big board and have all the data that I need to cover the draft the best that I can. So if that content appeals to you, it's going to keep coming. Again, current plan is to wrap up sometime around mid-month. And then I don't totally know what's going to happen for the next couple weeks, but the month ends with a big bang with the draft. The draft itself, always going to be very intriguing, always going to pull in a lot of people, and I will be covering it as I always do via live stream. And that basically pushes us into May, which is going to be pretty much entirely low-key. There's not going to be a lot happening in the month of May, straight up. May, June, things start to pick up again in July, but the draft is going to be the last big splash for NFL stuff in general. So we will be finishing the month with a big bang, hopefully. I will be covering all 3 days of the draft in as much detail as possible. But also, I do have some understanding that before we get there, it's going to be a little bit of a slog to pull through. And thank you to everybody who's going to continue to watch, continue to support, continue to find some value in the stuff that I'm putting out there. And again, I'm doing it so I can be prepared for the draft. And while I'm doing it, why not push the results out there for everybody to look at. So that's basically the YouTube side. We're doing Hawk's Nest streams for the duration of March, and we're going to continue to do them in April. We're going to do 2 shows a week in April. That starts tomorrow. We're going to do a Tuesday show and a Thursday show so we can get through all the draft stuff. So be ready for that. And that's basically the YouTube side of things right now. So that's the 2024 state of the channel. Twitch was a good month. I didn't have as much time for Twitch as I usually do because I've been doing so much draft stuff, so I didn't stream as much. I skipped several days. But the month of March, Twitch-wise, was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth mostly. So we're making good progress there. We're motoring on through that game. I'm kind of taking it a little bit slow because I had to work so hard to finish Persona 3 that it kind of took it out of me to be able to finish that in time for Rebirth, which I barely did. So now with Rebirth, I'm kind of taking it easy. I don't feel the need to power through it the way I did with Reload. And we also, in the month of March, did our first ever anime watch-along on Twitch, which I also thought went fairly well. Some people were interested. Some people had a lot of fun with that. We did the 90s ADV dub of Neon Genesis Evangelion because I wanted to see EOE in theaters, and I wanted to complete my rewatch before I went to the theaters. So it worked. I mean, I'm still alive, right? Granted, it is an older anime that people are probably not very protective of at this point. So going into April, I've started Helldivers 2. I did my first Helldivers 2 stream a couple of days ago. Gonna do more Helldivers, so that's going to become part of the rotation for the foreseeable future on the channel. And we're, of course, we're not finishing with Rebirth until we actually beat the game. So Final Fantasy VII goes on. And we're also going to be doing more anime watch-alongs as well. We're going to try the rebuilds in the coming couple of days. In fact, I think tomorrow I'm going to try 1.0 and see how that goes. And if we're able to finish through all the rebuilds, we might try a few other things as well. We might do Steins Gate. There's RE0. There's One Punch Man. There are assorted watch-along things that we can do on the channel that are probably acceptable to the, as long as I'm, reacting to it. That's kind of the key here. As long as I'm reacting to it, it's probably fine. But we'll see. But if that's something that interests you, follow me over there on Twitch. Also, dual streaming to Kick when I can. I am encountering a problem where sometimes Restream's bitrate is awful, and I just have to switch to Twitch only. But we're restreaming stuff to Kick as well, so if you want to follow over there, feel free. Stuff is going good on X as well. I'm posting a little bit more. I'm posting videos over there, and they're doing well. They're getting traction. Some of the tweets are doing pretty good as well. So if you're not following me on X, do so. I'm almost to 1,000 followers. Instagram, I'm still not able to schedule video uploads on Facebook or Instagram, so I've had to cut that off. I'm still doing Reels, but that's obviously taking a back seat right now because I'm so busy with draft stuff. And that's really about it. That's pretty much the whole picture of what I'm doing here on the internet. So let me know what you think down below. Thank you for a great month of March. Let's have a great month of April. I know it's going to be slow until we get to the end, but the end is going to make it all worth it. I know it's not as exciting as last year's draft because we had way more capital, but we've got enough capital this year to make a dent in our problems. So, see you guys later. Go Hawks. More draft stuff coming later today, but had to take care of some business first. So, thank you for watching. Go Hawks. And, yeah, let's get ready for the 2024 NFL Draft.